No, I don't have a Wanda Sykes
That's
impression.
in the show.
He did it.
I don't have a Wanda Sykes impression, but she was in Star Wars. She was also in Star Wars a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
But she was definitely in this one.
Yeah.
Nate, take
Where
it
can they
away.
find us?
Where can they find us?
Welcome
This is our quickest
back
episode
to
ever.
Thumbs up.
Shut
Here
it
we
down.
go.
Welcome back to Star Wars, guys. As always, we are your hosts, Mike,
Yes, hello there.
myself, hello there, and Uncle. You know him well.
Oh, there.
I did a little Yoda
do
speak
that.
on that one.
That was good. Yeah.
Uncle, you know him well.
Uncle, know him, you do. Know him well. Wanda Sykes.
Yeah.
Funny she is.
But yeah, welcome back. As always, if you guys are watching live, even if you're not, you can always comment below after watching or listening. But if you are here live, feel free to engage with us in the chat and let us know your thoughts. Obviously, we'll do a little bit of Bad Batch episode 5 and kind of talk about some Star Wars as a whole, some things coming up moving forward. But Bad Batch episode 5,
Oh yeah.
I feel like we'll just get right into it. We usually start with overall thoughts.
Yeah. Overall thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah. I
I.
looked at him, so
Yeah,
that's
overall,
incentive.
Your
We
overall.
should say we also were off last week.
We
So we didn't get to touch on the last 2 episodes
Yep,
if we want
that's
to kind of
true.
group it together. But we'll start off with this episode. My thoughts on the episode. I liked it. It was definitely Indiana Jones.
very.
Indiana Jones feel about it.
Yeah.
Which I'm a huge Indiana Jones fan, so I love that. It's definitely interesting to see. This is, I think, one thing to remember is it's a 16 episode season. I think I am probably on the side of I really liked what we got, and I'm also sitting in the corner, kind of antsy, going and kind of getting back to the main storyline sometime
Yeah.
soon. Where the last 2 episodes have both been very fun.
Yeah.
One's pod racing esque with the riot
Yeah.
racing, in tech, as a racer, and then obviously I like that this gets back to the group as a whole, but then they're going on another little mission, and I think that there is definitely character development, and we're seeing what people are there's. It's not filler where there's nothing going on or no developments, because you get to see
Yeah.
what Omega has, this yearning for adventure. You have Hunter as kind of the father figure. You have
Yeah.
everybody has their own
It's
part,
kind of-
but there is a little bit of, okay, now I'm kind of
Right.
excited to see what goes next, as far as we have Gungi shown in the trailer, we have Palpatine shown in the trailer,
Right.
we have cloning stuff that was teased at the end of last season for the everyone who's on Kamino who survived and then escaped. So I'm
Yeah.
excited. I liked what we got. It probably wasn't my favorite episode of the series of the season so far. That would definitely be the solitary clone was
Mhm.
definitely still my favorite. But
Yeah.
I liked what we
Yeah.
got. But I'm excited to kind of see what's next.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think, and I kind of teased it in the title of our episode this week of where is it heading? Like, where's the show heading? Where's the Bad Batch heading? And kind of like what you were saying, in terms of it's not a filler episode. It's almost, some of these episodes are almost the opposite. It's like they're setting up different things here. You got some Dooku stuff, and then you got the pod racing episode, and they're almost focusing on different characters at the same time. Like you go
Mhm.
Tech here, and then Hunter's not in that episode, and then
Yeah.
you go, Omega and Wrecker in this moment, and then Omega and Echo in this moment.
Yep.
Mhm.
And rather than it feeling like, oh, this is a filler episode or that's a filler episode, it almost feels like there's different things that they're teasing, and then I'm like, okay, well, which direction's the main story plot going? Is
Yeah.
it going to come back to Cody and Crosshair, or just the Empire as a whole, or is it going to start weaning down towards the path of just what's the Bad Batch's purpose? Because I know they talked about Echo is teased with Hunter about, like, I feel like we could be doing more.
Mhm.
So it seems like there's a lot of these things set up, and they've referenced different things, whether it's from Clone Wars or even some stuff that they maybe reference in this episode. Not sure where everything's heading, which isn't a bad thing, but like you're saying, a little eager to kind of figure out where everything's going, what's the main story arc for the Bad Batch.
I take exception just a little bit to the filler philosophy.
Same. I don't
Yeah.
like it either.
Remember when
That's
Star
kinda
Wars
why I
was-
said that.
Yeah, because it comes out. I remember when Star Wars was kind of about being entertaining
Yeah.
Yeah.
and not necessarily filling in the gaps or moving a story. It was more
Right.
about
Perfect
enjoy-
dialogue.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
enjoy this for what it is.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, it's Star Wars in some ways is a buffet.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think of it as a buffet. We've
Yeah,
talked about
for
the
sure.
buffet idea. When I go to the buffet, I don't necessarily get the asparagus or the broccoli.
Right.
I'll go to the egg roll side and get
Right.
the
Uh-huh.
lo mein, but I don't necessarily get the shrimp rolls. Right? So I'll tell you what, my 6-year-old though loved it. Edge
Yeah.
of his seat, dialed in the whole time. When they were trying to get out the heart of the mountain,
Oh yeah.
hurry, hurry, hurry! He shouted out loud, "Hurry, put it back in! Put it!" I said, "Don't forget to twist it." He's like, "Ah." Yeah, it was like, it was great.
Yeah.
Don't forget to twist it.
I don't know. He didn't watch the Solitary
Yeah.
Clone.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he would have had the same reaction. I think he would have been entertained.
But it's
Yeah.
different.
But
that's a darker. That is. That's
it-
that's a completely.
There's
different
more
feel. It's a
depth
good point.
and
Right. It's darker. it's-
background story to Cody and
Right.
stuff like if you're tuning in and you're not necessarily
Mhm.
at that or seen all those other things or
Yeah.
maybe there to connect those dots. It's
Exactly.
not as big of an episode.
It's not. It's
yeah.
not.
Yeah, you're
And,
right.
and he hasn't seen them all. In fact, because of last week's we can talk about the rat race too, but I said, but you don't have to. These kind of stand alone, which is an element that I think is great because I bet you next Wednesday when I say you want to watch Bad Batch, he's going to say, "That's that one with the giant robot
Yeah.
with the laser thing."
Yeah.
And they were in the caves and stuff. I say, yeah. So it's an entry point that
Yeah.
doesn't you don't have to follow. It's not Lost.
Yeah.
Where I literally remember watching Lost and I didn't watch it when it came on because I
Mhm.
thought I missed the first 6. I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I waited
Yeah.
until it went around and then I watched it from the beginning.
Yeah.
This isn't that thing. So
yeah.
we get these little divergences which are developing character.
Yes.
They're taking us to new places, showing us new planets.
Right.
Introducing the new character of Fee, getting a little more background,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and adventure for which Omega's dying for adventure. She wants to go and see the world and explore things, and
Yeah.
she was the driver again. She was the main.
Yeah. And
So I thought it was moving things forward, even though it wasn't about cloning or it wasn't
Yes.
about
the Empire,
Crosshair or it
yeah.
wasn't about all the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
I do think there was progress. And
Completely
it was
agree.
fun. It was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
I-
Very
that's
fun.
similar to Riot Race. Similar, like
Yeah.
it was fun. It was
Right.
fun.
I had a similar feel to both of those, and I
You could take them out, and we don't.
but I
Yeah.
really
necessarily
enjoyed them
lose
for what
everything.
they were.
Yeah,
I was very invested
Yeah.
in tech and the racing, and loved that it was funny that it kind of called upon its own nostalgia. Like you're supposed to think of Anakin in the pod race.
Yeah.
There's bets. There's even the announcers like, whoa, and so. Now again, it wasn't the
Exactly.
exact same announcer, but it was like, and tech in the lead. I was like, this is
Exactly.
totally
so
what's
great.
going on.
Yeah.
And then in this, it's obvious. You even have the Rolling Stones coming in that don't like.
Rolling Stones.
Hey,
They
Rolling
came in.
Stones. We will talk about the music, by the way, in this, because I thought the music was fantastic in this episode.
Yeah.
I thought this was some of the best because it was very. When I was talking about the Rolling Stone and the Boulder, it was obviously a play on, a nod to Indiana Jones, another Lucasfilm property we should mention,
right?
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
coming around again.
which is coming around.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it was awesome. I think you would make a great point there. I personally don't ever want to get bored or to find myself not appreciating the fun aspect of Star Wars.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things I love about Star Wars. We talked about the buffet. There's a reason why Andor touches on. Andor is fun in its own way, but
Mhm.
I wouldn't describe the series Andor as overall like, oh, you got to see this because it's just so much fun.
So much
Right.
fun.
I would
yeah.
I would like.
Yeah.
You use words as it's well written. There's depth.
Yeah.
There's it makes
Exactly.
you think about things. It makes you feel things. There's heart. There's emotion.
Right.
There's sacrifice. But it's not woohoo.
not, oh,
let's
that
blow
was-
this kid.
yeah.
Let's blow this thing and go home. Like this.
Exactly. Pacing is
it's
different.
not that.
Mhm.
I'll
But
try
this
sing.
has-
That's a good
But this has a lot of that. All the way up to the very end where you have a giant mechanical dinosaur Trojan horse who's shooting laser beams out of its head.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
what it reminded me of.
What?
Sorry for the interruption.
Was it dinosaur laser beam Trojan
No,
horse?
but I was trying to think. You remember those?
Horizon?
No, remember? So the head of that thing, Jedi Fallen Order, they had those
I was going
where
to
they
bring
would
that
take
up.
the step and they have the head.
Someone
that
just gonna
turns
go
and
back and see Nate and I simultaneously both go.
and the
we're both
laser
pointing at the
focus
different-
coming out of the thing.
Yeah.
It looks like that.
That's funny you said that. I was going to bring that up as
So-
one of the things that they maybe tease is, and
Right.
it wasn't identical,
No, but it has that.
but it has the same thing. And I saw some people on Twitter and stuff. Shout out to ATG Around the Galaxy. Pete was talking about it on
Yeah.
Twitter, and he had mentioned some of the not identical,
Yeah.
but looks like it could be referencing that. Is it possible that this is kind
Absolutely.
of coming from the same stuff that
Mhm.
that Cal Kestis was kind of looking for, and
Yeah.
that's why it's this ancient,
Right.
not before the Republic, this kind of more
Mhm.
ancient technology and that type of stuff. So-
Comes to life.
Yeah.
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 Anyway.
But yeah, that's
So,
funny
yeah,
you said
it's-
that. 'cause
Yep.
I was
Sorry to
gonna bring
interrupt
that
you.
up.
I
No,
hadn't thought
no.
of that till we were like, wait
Yeah.
a minute, that's
All-
what that was.
All I was finishing with that point was I do think that sometimes we get so caught up in the lore and the next mystery and the filling in the gaps and it's funny when we talk about it. Like I remember having a couple of vivid moments of I remember personally having some expectation not met or different than what I thought in the finale of Book of Boba Fett because I personally had built up not that it wasn't great, but that I had these expectations of I think so and so is going to show up, and again it clouds your own judgment.
It does.
Where then midway through the episode, I had to like pinch myself and say, "What are you
What is
doing?"
that? Right.
Boba Fett is riding a Rancor
Come on.
while Cad
Yeah.
Bane is fighting against Mando. There's a dark saber and
Right.
a baby Yoda out there at the same time. It's amazing. Now again,
Yeah.
Mhm.
there's different levels of different things, and every single show doesn't have to be for everybody. But there's also the heart of this show, and one of the driving forces is the story of Omega. And this show, which some other shows don't necessarily do, is this also is a coming of age story for Omega.
That's right.
And you have to have some episodes like this that do show that she's still the bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, like out in the galaxy. She's
Ooh,
not
treasure.
afraid of
Yeah.
she's not
Mhm.
afraid maybe as
Yeah.
much as she should be. The other people are trying to protect her a little
Yeah.
bit. She's like, we should do this. We should do
She's
and they're
also
like,
the one solving the problems. On
but
some
she's
of
al-
the-
yeah,
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
also very capable herself. But no, I think that you explained it well. That it can be both. I really liked it for what it is, and I think that we do need episodes like this. And then also, I'm excited
Yeah.
for when we get a little bit more of the answers that we think are kind of been laid out for us. So the questions,
It's
Yeah.
coming around.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and-
coming.
And I completely agree with you guys. And I wanted to go back to something you had said, Uncle, about seeing the show through 6-year-old's eyes.
Yeah.
Through Eli's eyes.
Yep.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
and as soon as you said it, I was like, that's such a good reminder. Like, it's so easy to watch a show like Clone Wars or Rebels and see where it started and how it ended.
Yep.
And how by the end you're like, oh my gosh, like some of this stuff
This
is
is full-
pretty.
right.
Yeah, this is
Intense.
full on
Mhm.
intense Star Wars.
Yeah.
Some of it's pretty dark at times.
Mhm.
But then to carry that over into Bad Batch, but also just have a reminder of like, if they're ever gonna do a side mission here, a side mission here
Mhm.
in a show, like we always tease about, like that's kind of the feel of Mando, right?
Right.
Mando has felt a lot like, now there is an overarching story, but it feels it's like, especially the first season and stuff. felt
Yeah.
Like mission here, okay, it didn't go well. Now we need to go get this part here. Okay, that
Mhm.
didn't go well. So now we have to go get this part. Okay, we got that, but now we also need this, and you're
Yep.
like going from place to place.
Right.
And the first season of Bad Batch didn't necessarily feel that way. I think overall it felt like a pretty through story. And I think this could lead up. Again, this is pretty early into this season still. But it's a good reminder that if we're doing these side missions here and stuff, that it's through a 6-year-old's eyes, like you're saying, in
Mhm.
terms of they can make a show for a younger audience like this and do that while still having episodes and story arc for
Yeah.
the adult that's watching
It's not Andor. It doesn't do the same. It
Exactly.
doesn't fill the same
And it's not
place.
meant-
Nor
to be.
should it be. Yeah.
Right.
It's not supposed to have this, okay, through this episode arc, okay, we're build up good, big escape, that
Yeah.
type of thing.
Right.
This is like episode start to finish. Let's
Mhm.
get the attention of a
Mhm.
younger audience.
Mhm.
See this mission through. Okay, that was really cool. And
Yeah.
I mean,
enjoy
I
it.
Yeah.
can speak firsthand and say that if the only Star Wars that I ever got growing up and to this day was always like Andor, it wouldn't hold the same place in my heart as it does today.
It wouldn't.
Yeah.
As much as I love Andor,
Yeah.
and we raved about it. We thought it was so well written. We love this show. I can't wait for season 2. But what got me into Star Wars is Luke staring at the twin suns,
Mhm.
and you hear John Williams score, and this longing for adventure, and then the Force, the Rebels and the Empire. There's all these different things, and what's great is Obi-Wan talks a little bit more about after the fall of the Jedi and becoming a Jedi again, and all of this. Andor talks about the nitty gritty rebellion, empire, what's actually going on, why it's a clear choice of
Yeah.
what side you should join,
Right.
how bad the empire actually is, and then also how messy the rebellion has to be at the beginning to get going. But then you also have some of these where it's like, this show is great because it can touch on all those different things and has big moments, like the Solitary Clone episode.
Mhm.
Why we loved it, I
Oh,
think, was
yeah.
it was also surprising for all three of us. It was like,
Yeah.
whoa, this feels like the
It
way
did-
that
yeah.
this feels like the way some episodes of Clone Wars
That's
would
right.
be, where you'd get a
Right.
Roger,
Right.
oh no, they're blasting, and you get like this thing that's like, oh, it feels very childish in some moments, and then the next, it's here's why this
But
whole
also- yeah.
village must burn, and you're
And
like,
it's
what?
the most
And then,
dark.
like,
Yeah,
it's
betrayer.
really
And
dark.
yeah.
Totally.
And so this show is great because it touches on all those, and we're gonna get Palpatine, we're gonna get Gungi, we're gonna get the Wookiee with a lightsaber.
Yep.
But we also get I never want to stop getting the fun adventure episodes as well. It's
Yeah.
just you get them in doses. So
Yeah.
like for
No,
what,
I
for
mean,
what it was,
I
for sure.
completely agree. I think
was
there's
fun.
nothing wrong with that. Obviously, my biggest question, and not that it's a bad thing, but my biggest question is, what is the story? Like, where's the direction
Where's it
for
headed?
the Bad Batch? Is it like what we're saying? Is that the Bad Batch? Are we gonna find out that that's it? There are these mercenaries that are gonna. This is how they're gonna live out their days of, helping Omega and trying to
Mhm.
do good, but also doing jobs here, doing jobs there. Is that the Bad Batch? And that's a fun thing to follow along with. Or is it going to come back to Crosshair and Echo maybe mentioning the stuff about there's a bigger purpose, getting involved in the rebellion in
See
a way.
what happens with
like,
Cody.
see what happens with Commander Cody.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to see some of that stuff? And not that there's a right or wrong thing, but that's just where my head is at. Is like, where are we going?
I have a question about Filoni. What
He's in the chat.
what he's
Dave, if you're
Dave,
listening,
shout it
Hey.
out.
respond
Tell
to
us
this.
the answer here.
Dave.
What is he thinking with Hunter? What's he thinking? Like just
Yeah.
like totally different. It's like
Yeah.
nothing there. He's there, but and it's weird. We've seen it in the last couple episodes. Omega's driving this shit, man.
Yeah.
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 She's
the-
like, come on, let's go do this.
She's
Yeah.
the one that forced him to do the race for Sid. She's the one that drove to this, and they're
Yeah.
going. And they're going. Like
Yeah.
it feels
Yeah.
like she's almost leading.
Yeah.
She's
It is-
making the decisions on these things. It's interesting.
Yeah,
Hunter
it's-
wasn't even in one of the episodes.
No.
Hunter is interesting because I think he is the least, like, all the other personalities are pretty, even Tech is larger than life, but in almost like a Dwight Schrute kind of a way of like, yeah, he's clearly like the nerd, or like he's clearly like Tech.
Which
that
makes
doesn't
him
quite compute.
outspoken.
He is like the life.
Exactly.
He
You
is like
can
the
tell
human
they're-
version of C-3PO or
Right.
something.
Like that's
Um,
part of that is because he's that intelligence level. He always feels like he has something to say, which is why we
Mhm.
get a lot of dialogue from him.
And obviously, Crosshair, we've seen the direction he's
Yeah.
gone. Obviously, Wrecker. Hunter's interesting because he is meant to feel kind of the most restrained, or I mean, I don't know if normal is the right word because they're all like different in their own way, and even he has heightened senses, which makes him a great tracker. But he is supposed to be kind of, I think, the leader of the group, and he
Mhm.
is supposed to
Felt like that.
He's kind of been set up as the father figure
Yeah.
to Omega.
Right.
It almost seems
And-
like there's a strong guy, there's a quick guy, a smart guy. He's like the balanced. He's like the Mario.
Yeah, he's like kind of the level head
characters.
that's
he's
gonna.
the Mario. He's the balanced.
He's kind of the
character.
instincts of like, Tech can tell you the odds of what they're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
Wrecker can break down the door to help you get in anywhere and help you fight your way out. But we need someone who's pointing us in the right direction.
Yeah.
And that's usually
Yeah.
what he is. But lately, Omega's kind of like, listen, let's go on this, and then
Yeah.
they'll look like, all right, let's
where
go.
we're going.
I will say on Nate's point, I mean, I will admit I have definitely been surprised the last few episodes because I did think after those first few episodes of this season, we even talked about on the podcast. We said this kind of feels like a turning point where maybe that was their last with the whole Dooku episodes. We did say, all of us were like, I think it kind of feels like it's their last of the mercenary missions, and that maybe now we're going to kind of see, and again, we're 5 episodes into a 16-episode season, so they have a lot of time to keep going different places. But I have been surprised that following that, it then had the riot racing episode, and then we had this episode, which was kind of, we're going to go here for some parts we need, or go here. Now, I understand that that's, again, I think Uncle nailed it too. I don't like the term filler just because I think a lot of times people use it as a lazy excuse for why something just didn't happen the way they wanted it to.
Yeah.
As
Like,
if,
some
yeah,
people
as
act
if Dave
like-
Filoni wrote 16. He's like, I gotta have something for 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's-
Let's throw in
Let's
that
just
thing.
fill
No,
the
and-
gaps.
And
No.
it's not that there haven't
do
ever
that.
been
No.
television.
He could have
filler
chosen 100.
episodes.
He had
Yeah.
100,000
Yeah.
choices. He chose
Because
that.
if they wanted to have 15, they'd had 15.
Exactly.
And it is not
Right.
that there haven't been television filler episodes in history before. We've all seen them. We know
Yeah.
what filler episodes are.
Yeah.
And you mentioned one of my favorite shows of all time, Lost.
Yeah.
And I listened recently to an interview of, I think it was Damon Lindelof, who was talking about why Lost needed and why they went to the studio and said, we need an end date for Lost because that'll help us with our
Yeah.
writing. Because the way the show works, we can't write 10 seasons of this and keep making all these new things. And he mentioned that he said
know,
the episode in Lost that he feels like we kind of had to just write a filler episode was because we were in negotiations with the
There
studio
were
and
other
it wasn't
elements.
going anywhere.
Everything's driving.
Yeah.
There were
everything.
things going, and he talked about there's an episode where all revolving the mysteries of Jack's tattoos on his arm. And it was like this backstory, but didn't reveal a whole lot. And he even said, he's like, to us, after that episode, we went in and said, we're not doing another episode till we get this figured out because we don't want the show quality
Yeah.
to dip.
It's just,
Dave Filoni's not doing that. Dave
Right.
Filoni knows what he's doing. This is their
Especially
second
with
season of
animation.
this.
This stuff takes
Animation, they've been working on this for
extremely-
years.
Like
Yeah.
this stuff takes time.
So just because, and this goes for me too, just because something happens that's not necessarily where I thought it was going to go, doesn't mean it didn't have purpose or didn't reveal more things about the characters, or just even sometimes character development is reiterating some of the same points and showing that, oh, not only did Hunter act this way in this instance, but he also did it over
He
here.
followed
So
here
now
too.
we see a pattern
Yeah.
here.
Omega's leading
So
quest.
it's one of those things where it definitely surprised me a little bit of where it went, but also patience. I liked the episode a lot. It was fun.
I say patience.
Say patience. We all need to be.
Anakin's
We
the one who
all
said that, by the
exactly.
way.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we all need to be meditating like Qui-Gon. Right there when the door's there. While,
That's right.
Instead of Maul walking around like a
Pacing back and
caged
forth.
animal slobbering at the mouth, like he's just
I
gonna.
would argue
That's it.
the pacing helped.
No, I will
I
say
don't know. The outcome, pacing one
Qui-Gon
over
was as
doing
calm
nothing.
as he
Did
needed to
one,
be. Yeah,
one.
Qui-Gon could be as calm as he needed to be. It didn't help him. Yeah,
Yeah, you're
that
right.
was true.
But
Also, Obi-Wan, you shown you can speed force run. Just do it. When
just
the
do
doors
it.
are
Just
open,
do
yeah.
it too.
you can do it.
I would argue Maul was not the better man for it. He was the worse for
It's
it.
true.
Even though he won, his
Yeah.
life was worse.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is true.
So don't pace in front of your television.
No.
Don't do it.
Sit and enjoy it.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Which
that's
reminds
it.
me of the Wizard of I'm just kidding.
Which comes our
Reminds me of
favorite
the story of the
segment
Wizard
the
of
show.
Oz. The by the way, the snow that fell,
Mhm.
asbestos.
Wow! Wow!
Yeah, it's made of
See?
asbestos. The snow that falls in the poppies. It was asbestos. They were giving cancer to all the cast.
They literally
Love this
said,
classic movie.
"We are gonna
Love
take out
this classic
everyone
movie.
associated with this movie." They're gonna be.
They
oh,
didn't
man.
know.
No, they didn't know.
They didn't know.
They didn't know killing was bad.
No.
No.
Starving a teenager, don't let her eat because she thought she's too fat. Nah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's all for the good of the movie.
Oh my.
Yeah, that's
gosh.
crazy.
I love that
Man.
movie, though.
it's it so much.
Since we're talking about other movies, real quick.
Yeah.
Avatar: The Way of Water now over 2 billion.
billion.
James Cameron is. There have been 6 films in history who have hit $2 billion. James
Yeah.
Cameron has 3 of the
I
6.
know.
He's not good enough for best director.
No,
No,
Let's
no,
don't
no,
get
no.
crazy.
Not even
No.
close. Not
No.
even
Read
close.
an
He doesn't
article
know how to
about-
wo- he doesn't know how to work a crowd.
Right.
Instead, it has to be one of the movies that nobody went and saw because they all went and saw Avatar.
Well, that's why they
so
expanded the
many of
best
those.
picture to
That's-
9. I think it's 9 or 10 now. It used to be
yeah,
5.
They
Yeah.
expanded
Because they
like
got to
10.
where they're just nominating of movies nobody's ever seen. Now they at least build in, give us a chance to put the movies that we like.
Yeah.
And I love film. I love cinema. A lot of the
Yeah.
movies that nobody's ever seen, I like to watch
Yeah.
those.
yeah.
But don't throw Cameron away. Come on, best
Yeah.
director.
The Fablemans.
Put him
I
in
saw
there.
the Fablemans this
You
week.
said that,
It's
yeah.
fantastic. I really,
Yeah, I
really
still
liked
need
it.
to
Spielberg
see that one.
nominated for best director.
He got
Is he in
nominated
there?
for it. And I believe the teenage actor who plays teenage Spielberg was nominated as well.
Oh, wow.
And oh gosh, now I'm blanking on the name.
George
Is
Lucas.
it Michelle Williams? Michelle Williams. George Lucas. Michelle
Whenever
Williams,
somebody
who
says that, I
played
throw out just a name.
Mrs. Fableman,
Oh,
was nominated as
Really?
for best
Hmm.
actress. Yeah,
nice.
it was really good. Yeah. Welcome to the Fablemans.
Will George ever make
The
another
Fableman's
movie?
gonna see what- Huh?
Will George ever be involved in
Oh
another
man, Howard the Duck 2. Come on,
Oh, he's just
please.
experimental films.
Make a
Yeah, my
Jar
basement.
Jar's Revenge.
Jar
Revenge of the
Jar's-
Binks.
Jar Jar's
film?
Revenge.
Do you think
It's
we'll
Jar Jar
ever
fighting,
see him
Binks bites
in the
back.
credits?
Jar Jar,
I think we've asked this
Binks
before.
bites back. It's just Jar Jar fighting Mickey Mouse. you all can have fun with that one.
Oh man.
Oh
Do
boy,
you
no,
think,
just
do you think
kidding.
we'll ever
just
get
kidding.
George in the credits?
I do.
Yeah.
I really do.
Characters by George.
I really
it's the one,
other
it's the
than
same one we always
based
get.
on the. I really do. I think there's something.
I hope
think
so.
there's
How
something
how old is George at this point? Because at some point,
He's 106.
well, see,
No.
and
He's
Williams
got
is
plenty of time.
Williams is 120. If Williams is
Yeah.
120, he can keep doing it.
That's
George is
true.
106. he can
Williams
get
is
credit.
announcing another 10 years.
Yeah.
He's
What?
No.
yeah.
Well, he
All
did say
right.
he's going to keep. Well,
He did.
fingers
Wow.
crossed. He's
That's quite a
Let's keep going.
guarantee.
That's
Did
great. Yeah.
say he could. Feels like
Well,
he could
right
keep
time
going.
103. Hey, John Williams at 50% is better than everybody else at 100. So
Yeah.
give us whatever you
True.
got.
Yeah.
All right.
Take it.
Bad Batch.
Bad Batch. Wait, are we talking about Bad Batch?
I think was it the Wizard of Oz? No.
if you
it was
guys,
Bad
if you had
Batch?
to predict, we're still early into this season, but if you had to predict where it's heading, what are your predictions?
My prediction is Filoni is purposely going all over so that we can't pick. That's what I think now. Like he's not giving us anything. It's gonna be
Yeah.
gonna give us a little. And I haven't seen like a 3 story arc or 2
No.
episode.
No.
It's just kind of been.
Because it really has been like all of the Bad Batch and no Crosshair to Crosshair episode
Oh yeah.
to
two of the
now
Bad
they're
Batch.
divided.
And
Two
now
of the
it's-
Bad
yeah.
Batch
Right.
to then even in this episode, I love it because
There's-
it's classic Indiana Jones, classic the Indiana Jones inspired films after it, like National Treasure
Yeah.
and those types of things.
Right.
Where at one point it was so obvious and in a good way because I love them playing on some of the common like tropes and things that are going on with the adventure movies. But when they're inside, and all of a sudden, Fee and Omega and I believe Hunter are a little bit ahead, or maybe Hunter was still kind of behind a little bit, and they turn around, they're like, come on, pick it up, and I'm like, there's too much of a gap.
Right.
Something's falling from the
Yeah.
ceiling, and
Yeah.
immediately they're going to be
Exactly. They're
separated. And then
split.
boom, that happens, and I think
Yeah.
Hunter jumps to the other side to be with them.
Yes.
But it was like, oh, there is. Right
Yeah.
when they showed the gap, I was like, something's falling from the
Yeah, they're
ceiling,
gonna
and
split 'em up.
that's what's gonna happen. Love
Yeah.
it. It's great.
I do.
Yeah, go ahead. You
no,
can
you
can
got it, 'cause
answer.
I'm about to say something else. So.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Well, I'll
gosh.
save you. I was just gonna say that we've got some. You're on the walking a fine line on the edge. We've got some stuff we can count on probably for the season,
Yeah.
at least for the show to drive it. But what I was saying that is I don't. He's making it pretty clear that we're not going to be able to put our thumb on the direction.
Till
It's
it hits
not.
us.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
And in fairness, isn't that what
mean,
Mando was like?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, we never
was.
thought in the first episode of Mando that it would end with Grogu, Baby Yoda.
No
the first
way.
episode,
No.
we're like, what is this show?
We
Right.
never thought Luke either.
But then we also spent
Couldn't
the
be.
whole
Literally.
first,
Mace,
Yeah, why
and
not?
then we
But
spent the whole first
not
season
Luke.
going, what's his name? What's his nothing? They're like, when's he
Nothing.
gonna talk? Where's he come from? Is he Yoda? Is it what's nothing? Didn't know.
Nothing.
We're still waiting. Again, we now know he's Grogu. We still haven't heard
Right.
him really
Yeah.
speak. There's all these different things, but then also then the Dark Saber's introduced in episode 8, in the finale of season 1. You're like, what is this show? Where's it going?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, and then Luke's involved. And then this happened. You're like, where is all this going?
Yeah.
Yep.
In the best possible way. I couldn't
Mhm.
predict that there would then be an episode where they go to
Snoke
this
cloning.
farmland and Bryce Dallas Howard, that they would go to this
Yeah,
farmland
take
and
on
Bryce
Chicken
Dallas
Walker.
Howard would,
How in the world?
yeah, would literally direct chicken walkers like they're T-Rexes. Like,
yeah.
we should have known she would
So
do the
great.
dinosaur
Chris
episode.
Pratt's on
but,
a
like,
motorcycle.
There's no
What
way
in the
anybody.
world?
So good.
Chris Pratt's over there riding up into a chicken walker. We had no idea that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Yeah,
I like to
easy,
just
Blue.
sometimes sit back and
Easy, Blue.
you're not sure where it's going to go.
Hey, eyes
Yeah.
on me. Eyes on me.
What?
Hey, what'd I say?
Oh, that was.
What'd I say?
This was. I saw a very fun. I think I sent it to you a long time ago. Maybe. I think I sent it to you and Jake. A very funny, like Instagram or TikTok video, and it was, it was someone reenacting like in their kitchen the Chris Pratt like this, and it was like when my wife gets mad at me. And there was like this audio of like this wife like just cursing him out in the background, and he's walking like it's, and he's doing the Chris Pratt, and he's just holds his face the whole time going, shh. it's him getting chewed out, and the guy's just like
That's
it's
awesome.
like it's a
Easy.
raptor, and he's just doing
Eyes
this.
on me.
He's looking around. Shh. Like he's talking to Blue.
You know, it's
Talking to Blue.
fun to make predictions, and I will continue to do it. But when I sit down to the episode, I have already decided, wipe the slate clean, and
Oh
just,
yeah.
take-
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
no
Because I
idea.
found I
That's
did
the best way
that too on
to do
Boba
it.
Fett and other shows. Like, what's gonna happen? Who is it? Where are they? When are they coming out? I just like you got to wipe that and just.
I think
take
we
what
sometimes-
you're given
when you
know?
do
Yeah.
when we do that, and I'm guilty of it just as much, is we sometimes then miss the point of what they're trying to do.
Yeah, you get
sometimes we
wrapped
get
up in
so
your own
caught up
thing.
in like this is what's gonna happen. This Book of Boba Fett as a show went very differently because we didn't know much about it. We were
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
is
definitely
it going to
that
be
happened with
a
Boba Fett.
bunch of different story? Like maybe it's going to be an adventure that Boba Fett had in this because we didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
And then when it comes out, we're like, oh no, it's a deep journey about the trauma he's gone through. With all like we could not have predicted at all that he would be taken in by the Sand People and
Right.
Tuskens, all this stuff. But
I
so
think-
sometimes you just got to take
Yeah.
what's there.
Boba Fett is one that I think we should all just admit is better than we thought and is really, I think, underrated.
And I think has been unfairly. I agree. I think it's been.
Yeah.
I wish someone would just have the
Someone
guts to
should-
say it on Twitter.
Somebody should
I know,
post that.
seriously. I know.
What are we up to
seriously.
now?
Someone should
How
tweet
many-
that.
How many are you up to?
Oh, it's getting a lot of hate, but I love it. It's getting a lot of love though too. All
Yep.
I tweeted was what did I tweet?
I think I said it wrong. I was
I
close.
said it was.
No, it was-
pretty
you were-
close.
it was-
I said let's. That's what it was.
Let's be
I
honest.
said let's be honest.
Time to
Book of Boba
admit.
Fett isn't bad.
Is it bad?
It's
That was it.
underrated. That was the whole tweet. Took one line basically.
I
and
read
it's
some of
just
Nate's
people are just
the responses.
Tons of.
Half of them. There's some that are like, yeah.
Most
yeah.
people are saying are
But then
like
there's
it or
some that
whatever.
are some that are like, yeah, or you're blind. They're like, no, that's not.
I am blind.
I'm blind.
What is that?
Yeah.
supposed
Yet
to
I
mean?
still heard the best show I've
Yet
ever
I
seen.
see.
Someone
I was
commented
blind,
on it
but
and
now
said
I see.
everything. Someone said something, and I don't remember the whole tweet, but it was something like everything you like about the show had nothing to do with Mando. And I replied, I was like, what do you know about what I liked about the show? I was like, how do you know what
What
I
did it
liked?
have to do with Boba
I was like,
Fett anyway?
how do you know what I liked about the show? And I
Yeah.
said two of my favorite things about the show were finally getting to see Boba Fett ride the Rancor and show off the dangerous and like that side of Boba.
Yeah.
The it was reckless. It was taking down the town, but he did it, and I thought I was like, okay, that was cool. We got to see that side of Boba Fett,
Mhm.
and then also. Not just the cameo of Cad Bane, but also just the story of how big that ended up being between him and Boba Fett, because they're longtime,
Yeah.
sort of colleague nemesis
Right.
between each other,
Right.
always competing for bounties and things like that.
Mhm.
So we got some wrap up and conclusion on that. Those two of my favorite things. It had nothing.
Right,
And it was
action.
everything to do with Boba Fett.
Right. Yeah.
Listen, this is what Nate's problem is, and this is what's Nate's problem is with how he feels.
Let me know my problem about how I.
Yeah.
I love when someone's like,
Please post
this is the
what
problem.
Nate's problem.
Only things you like are. I'm like, how do you know what I like?
Right.
How do you know also the only things. Like how you know
Bingo.
the definitive list of the
That's
only
so
things
great.
I like.
I just chuckled at it.
Could you do another one and just instead of Boba Fett, just put the words Wizard of Oz? How would that be?
Just
Just
say
do that on Twitter.
that it's not bad? Or
Yeah,
that it is
it's
bad?
fine. It's admit
Flip
it's yeah.
Said it is bad.
It's not bad. It's underrated.
Let's be honest. The
What if we
Wizard of
act
Oz
like
is-
Wizard of Oz
It's
has
not
gotten
that
nothing
bad.
but hate over the years?
It's not that bad.
Let's face it. Let's face it. I know it's been 100 years.
You would get as many
But
hot takes
looking
on
back,
that.
Wizard
That's
of Oz,
funny.
I think we can all agree, Wizard of Oz is not that bad.
It's not that bad.
It's underrated.
It's underrated.
Is it perfect? No.
No.
But I think that it's not. I think that people have been unfair to the Wizard of
You
Oz.
should be-
That's funny you said that because the other day it was James Earl Jones' birthday. It was
Oh,
like
really?
92nd birthday.
How is he,
Man.
by the way? What did he say?
He's doing well. Still playing with the Sandlot.
Playing Yahtzee with John
He's
Williams.
he's playing.
Still
I'm making
playing with
more
the Sandlot
music.
Kids, they're all 50s, 60s, and
It's
still-
yeah,
he's
it's,
still
it's,
got
it's
beast.
Lucas, James Earl Jones, and John Williams all playing board games together. And Lucas is like, these old farts. I'm only like 80.
It was my turn.
But
Why
it
are you
was-
talking like that?
So it was his birthday the other day, and
I'm making a movie.
I did exactly that. I tweeted something that was like, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I was like, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say
Love.
James Earl Jones has one of the best voices of all time. Happy birthday, James.
Happy birthday, James. Thanks
Matt,
for all the memories.
I
As if
love
it's
this.
a huge debate.
Right.
I love The Sandlot, and Matt and I always joke about the fact that I love that James Earl Jones' character in The Sandlot
Mm-hmm.
is talking about his own baseball career, and again, the way it's set up is that he was
Right.
great, and
Yeah,
had this, obviously
exactly.
this accent and
Yeah.
everything, but he's like, George, oh, I knew him, and he knew me. Like Babe Ruth sweating this guy. Like, I'm sure he was great,
me.
but Babe Ruth is Babe Ruth. Like,
Yeah.
This kid literally has dreams about Babe Ruth throughout the movie.
Never heard of this guy.
He's never heard of this guy.
Right.
Like, I mean, especially if he
You
was
do
that
Babe Ruth?
good.
I did.
If he was that good, you at least know his name.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You would know that he's your next door neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it was a
Everybody would.
subtle play on racism.
Yeah,
Could
I think
be,
you're
yeah.
right.
You know what I mean?
I think you're right.
Honestly,
I take
yeah.
back everything I said.
Yeah. Shame. No.
And
going
Hercules.
Back to,
And Hercules is a great dog.
Great one.
Great
Great
dog.
dog.
In fact,
Underrated.
I like it when he chewed the baseballs because baseball is frankly boring. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
back to Bad Batch. No.
Yeah, what's this podcast?
By
Actually,
the way, one more thing not related to Star Wars.
this is great. Good. Get it out. Nate, you better
Tomorrow.
start thinking of something that's
you
not
guys
so
are already
good.
probably on board on this. You already know.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, January 26th, a new television show coming on Peacock. You've been following this called Poker Face.
Yes, by Ryan
Johnson.
Yeah.
Also, I was looking
Yeah.
at the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes of that
Mhm.
show.
Is Lady Gaga starring in
100%.
It's killing it. What?
Dude,
it?
100%. It's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes
Yeah.
right now.
Jeez.
Written and directed by Ryan Johnson.
So
Tomorrow.
tomorrow, one of our favorite old shows is Columbo. My kids
Mhm.
love it. We watch it all the time.
Columbo's great.
It's on Peacock, and it's a Catch Me If You Can, where you show the crime and then
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
figure it out. It's modeled after Columbo. I can't be more excited.
Oh, that's
I love
great.
Ryan
What comes out
Johnson?
tomorrow?
Tomorrow, all 10 episodes I think are released
Oh,
tomorrow. I think.
nice.
No, maybe not. It's 10 episodes. I think 3 or 4 are released tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
It's more than one, but anyway.
I just love that after in my opinion, the unfair criticisms that Ryan Johnson has gotten related to Star Wars, that he has followed that up by doing nothing but hit home runs.
Right,
Yeah,
killing
literally.
it.
Just
He does
absolutely.
one Knives Out movie, and Netflix goes,
Just killing
"Here's
it.
$500 million. Can you make a couple more?"
Make
He's
two
like,
more.
"Oh man, I'll think of an idea, sure." And then he comes out with the second one,
Yeah.
kills it. He comes out with
Mhm.
Poker Face. It's supposed to be real. Every review that I've heard of it,
Yeah.
and again, it's being released tomorrow. Every review I've heard is that it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So
I'll watch it all tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll knock it out.
Whatever we can find.
Poker Face cast.
But
So, yeah.
okay, so back to Bad Batch before we wrap up.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
gonna say you
yeah.
mentioned something earlier about Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
His just kind of like you were saying, like baloney. What's Hunter
Feel- yeah.
thinking?
Mhm.
He kind of feels like he's taking a back seat right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Kind of seems like he's got stuff going on in his head and is
Mhm.
kind of quiet. And when you said that, it made me think: is it possible at any point that we see the band break up?
You mean the band from Visions?
Yeah. The Rolling Stones.
The band from Visions.
The band from
The rock
Visions.
band from Visions. I
But do
think
you
they- I
think,
think they've
we
broken
see?
up.
Do you think
I
we
think
see?
they're the one-hit wonders. They
They
had that thing you
are.
do. They
And that
crushed
was
it.
it.
Yeah.
It was great,
But
but can't capture lightning
you know,
twice.
it's as much as we'd love to have Lenny sing. Come on, pretty baby. Yeah, that's it. Move a little closer.
And
Let
they
me hold
clicked
you
away,
tight.
and they clicked away.
That was a great song too. I actually love that. Song.
Tonight.
The only reason I bring that up, since we talked about Star Wars, I have to divert. We just watched that thing you do the other day because
Yeah.
my wife
Yeah.
Abigail had not seen it.
Yep.
I love it. What was your question, Nate?
Yeah, I was
Do
gonna
you
wonder if
think
anybody's gonna answer
Hunter's
that,
gonna-
or we're just.
I think
Oh, the band's
I
gonna bring
thought
it.
that. I was like, man,
Mm.
he's kind of pulling off to himself, and they're not listening to him. He's actually saying we shouldn't do things,
and
and
if
they do it
Echo's
anyway.
telling him that
Yeah.
they've got a bigger purpose,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What if
it's
Hunter?
possible
What if
that
Hunter's
he
like?
feels the same way?
What
and
if one
they're-
of them's like, no, we have a small purpose.
We
But
need to
I've got
hide.
big arms. That's Wrecker.
That is
I think
Wrecker.
Wrecker's, and I love it, is getting dumber by the episode.
But
He's
I
never
think
gonna say-
as we
Racket.
as
think it's-
Omega
I'm
grows,
gonna rack it.
as
Gonna rack
Omega
it.
grows her relationships with the others, because like
Expanding.
first season was very heavily Hunter,
Yep.
Yeah.
and then started gearing a little bit towards Wrecker towards
Yeah.
the end with
Yeah.
the the stuffed animal, that type of thing.
Right.
I wonder if now we've got her with Echo in this part and her doing this with Wrecker.
Mm.
If there's a moment in this season where Hunter kind of feels like he, or either he himself or he with Echo or someone, they can go do, other things and maybe split up, and that becomes a thing between Hunter and Omega about like she needs to stay and continue.
It could
helping
be.
them.
It could also be that he writes the ship and says we need to get Crosshair out, but we need to go back for him. We can't give up on him.
Yeah.
What would be very
Maybe not.
interesting is if
Maybe they're
they
done.
see Cody,
Yeah.
and Cody shares some of his conversations he's had with Crosshair.
Right.
Maybe
Yeah.
they just get an update of like, because Cody knows that Crosshair was
Yeah.
part of their
There's
was part
conflict.
of
Yeah.
their group.
Conflicted
Yeah.
there.
And it'd be interesting if there were some conversations with Cody about, oh, you saw Crosshair? Yeah, we did this whole mission
And Rex.
together, and
Mm-hmm.
we were
Supposed to get
talking
Rex
about
at
it.
some point.
Rex. When there's a Rex, there's an Ahsoka. No, I don't know.
Probably.
Probably in Ahsoka. You just have to pronounce everything a little bit weird.
You know, they say they love this Ahsoka.
Why do you have to say it like that?
That I could promise you.
I can promise you that they love this Ahsoka.
It's Ahsoka.
Oh man.
What are we doing? Yeah, I am excited to see. Again, I think when we talk about where is the show headed, this is one of the advantages of we have seen things in the trailer
Yeah.
that we do
That we know are coming.
We know that there's stuff that we're gonna see.
Because there have
some
been
stuff
lawsuits
as far
about
as-
that in the past. They have
That's
to show
true.
what's in the trailer.
That's true. We have found out.
That's true.
You cannot. You
Right.
cannot do that
Yeah.
anymore. We see that Ian McDermott is the Emperor.
Yeah.
Voicing the Emperor is back. We're gonna see some of that. So that makes me think. One, we're gonna get maybe some Senate or dissolving of the Senate, whatever.
Yeah.
It looks like he's kind of in the Senate chambers from what we've seen.
Yeah.
And it's not until the scene in New Hope when the regional governors will now control, and they talked about dissolving the Senate. So I think we're gonna get some of those bigger things. Obviously, Gungi is gonna be cool whenever we get that. But I
Yeah.
also think there's a lot of stuff that they haven't shown us in the trailer because
Yeah.
Filoni likes to keep a lot of that stuff close.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He didn't show in the trailer like, oh, by the way, here's this World Between Worlds thing
Right.
that happened in Rebels. Like they keep that quiet, and then stuff happens. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited for
It's
where the
really
show's
fun.
going.
I wonder if we get a mission with Gungi, if it's helping him with the path. Like that doesn't become the Bad
Mm.
Batch's purpose. Like that's not where they just go and now
Mhm.
that's their thing now.
Yeah.
But if they do a mission in one of these episodes and that's where we see him, and it's because they're gonna help him go through the path and,
Yeah.
and get to safety somewhere, and then that's also kind of like not a cameo, but a tie to like referencing the stuff that we already learned from Kenobi.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Do we see a connection in the last 3 episodes? Do we see a connection? I shouldn't say the last 3. Do we see a connection between the failures
Hmm.
that they've been self-serving? They've
Because
been
each of these have-
self-seeking,
Yeah.
except for the
Aside from
riot
yeah.
riot race where they're doing it for Sid, but when they're trying to get Dooku's treasure, that's self-seeking.
Yeah.
When they're trying to do this mission, it was about
Getting treasure.
treasure hunting for themselves, following a pirate.
Yeah.
That's not their. That shouldn't be their thing.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Dooku
Are
and
we
this one,
seeing,
and they came
And I
up
think
short in
yeah.
both of them.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
didn't-
Are they learning something? Are
Yeah.
these just shows
Even in the
about
episode
stuff?
with Echo,
are we learning
with
something?
Yeah.
Dooku stuff is when Echo's like, leave it.
Yeah.
Just leave it.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Leave the
I
treasure.
think what's
Omega.
interesting because we didn't talk about because we were off last week. We didn't really talk in this podcast episode so far much about the very end of that Riot Racing episode when I can't remember the character's name. But the character who then on their way out warns them about Sid. And I thought that was kind of interesting that someone
That's right.
that someone who also
Oh,
is
that dude was sweet, by the way.
he's cool.
I like that.
That someone
character.
which by the way, I think that's voiced by I can't remember.
Same species as Fallen Order. Inquisitor.
Oh, yeah.
I think that is
I don't
voiced
remember
by
the name. I'll have to
Yeah,
look it
yeah.
up. but-
I can't
with the
remember the
horns
guy
coming
from
up.
Ghostbusters.
Oh, okay.
What's the actor's name? Wait a second here. Ghostbusters.
New Ghostbusters.
The old original Ghostbusters with
Bill.
Ernie Hudson, I believe. Is
Ernie
who- I
Hudson,
believe
okay,
is who
yeah.
voiced.
oh wow.
I
Okay.
think it was Ernie Hudson. Let me see if it was.
Yeah.
I could be way
No, it
off.
sounds like him. I can hear it.
Because at first it kind of sounded like close to like a Carl Weathers voice.
Right.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it didn't have quite the distinct Carl Weathers.
Great voice for that character too.
I think. Let me see. Bad Batch. Ernie Hudson. It was okay. Cool. It was Ernie Hudson. But that was very interesting. You wonder, especially because they ended on the episode. It ended. I think that if that kind of warning had come earlier in the episode, sometimes the way these shows go, there's a crew that comes in. Someone just says, "I'm gonna warn you about so and so,"
Yeah.
and then by the end of the episode, you're like, "No, Sid was." Maybe Sid has this checkered past, but she's learned.
They
We
clear it
moved
up.
on. They clear it
Right.
up,
Mm-hmm.
and then you find out here's who you can trust, here's who you can't trust. You go on your way.
Yeah.
This was
Yep.
interesting, though. I don't know if it'll be explored a ton moving forward or not. I mean, the fact that he ends with that after the whole conflict is settled says, "Watch your back." Like,
Yeah.
I know you think you can trust her, but she doesn't trust you. Like, whatever the
Yeah.
quote was essentially, I know you think you're loyal. She's not loyal to you.
Mm-hmm.
It would be interesting if that
She wouldn't have done it for you.
if
yeah.
something
Yeah.
like that comes up moving forward.
I
If,
do
if there
feel like
is any
they-
of like, but
Yeah.
it kind of also feels like maybe they've softened her heart a little bit and she likes him.
I think they
I got
have
a
a
job
little
for
bit,
you.
but I do feel like something needs to happen where they break away from Sid. At some,
Yeah.
at
Yeah,
some
Sid's not a
point-
part
She
of the
put him
Bad
on- She
Batch.
put him on the Dooku
Yeah.
thing.
It's
Yeah.
at
And
some-
Hunter was like, "This
yeah.
is a terrible idea."
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
should
not. She
not
doesn't
do
have
this.
great
Yeah.
instincts on all this, and
Right.
like they did there,
Right.
she's getting in deep trouble, and they're having to bail her out of it. You can't.
Yeah. It
can't be
seems
running with
like,
friends who are
yeah, she's
constantly
becoming
a
way more
liability.
reliant on them doing these jobs, and they don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily need her. But
Well-
it definitely feels like Bad Batch at some point will be breaking away from her, or at least like that scene of always coming back to the pub, the bar, wherever
Right.
that is, and then
That's gonna go away.
Yeah.
doing their thing, and then going out for missions from there. It feels like their base is not going to be there for
Are
a
they
long
gonna
time.
Are they gonna figure out in general Omega's not a great leader? Are they gonna figure that out? Are they gonna go? I know what you want to do things and you want to achieve, but she was the one fighting for the mission
Yeah.
for Dooku.
Yeah.
She was the one pushing
the
this
Dooku
thing
treasure
was-
hunt
yeah,
thing.
was
Yeah.
and
Both
and
were terrible ideas.
she
Terrible
also
ideas. They
was,
almost got
was-
killed.
Yeah, she was reaching
Even-
for the treasure to the last second.
Yeah.
They had to pull her back. Like, whoa, whoa,
Now,
Yeah.
even the Sid
Yeah.
thing was a terrible idea. Horrible.
whoa.
Keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
You bet everything
Exactly.
on this. If we fail,
Yeah.
they're going to kill us.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is not a small mistake.
And
yeah.
so that was not even a great decision either.
No.
But it worked out. I'm just wondering if they're going to get to the point
Right.
where they're going to go, listen, the last few times you've decided where we go,
Stop speaking up.
you've almost killed us.
Yes, yes.
Stop speaking for
Stay
us.
in the
Ellis.
background
Right.
for a few
Let's
minutes.
stop and think
We
about
know
what we're
you got a
doing.
good heart.
It
Maybe,
doesn't
or
seem
maybe
like
that's
there's
just
a team aspect.
Yeah.
It seems like one person speaking up and saying this, and
It
then
could
they're
be
all
just
doing
the
it.
show. It could be the,
Yeah, it could be.
it could be the Fred of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go for this, even though it's always dangerous.
Well,
And
that's
the
that's
point.
why it's
Yeah.
interesting
But-
coming back to Hunter is because Hunter's supposed to kind of be who
Keeping
we thought would be the
everybody-
one who would see through all that and like, hey, we have this idea. We
Yeah.
have
Well, he did
Tex-
with the Dooku thing.
You did.
Tech is kind of the no emotion sometimes for
Yeah.
stuff. Like we can't, where she leads almost all in emotion
Yeah.
and
That's
adventure.
right.
And then Wrecker's like, we're invincible. Like, well, we're not invincible.
Yeah.
And obviously Crosshair was cold-blooded.
Yeah.
But Hunter was kind of supposed to be that middle ground. And again, I still think he is, but it's interesting because we haven't seen him really speak up a lot.
Even Tech in this one goes, well, now my interest is piqued.
Right.
It's like,
See, they all have
Totally.
that.
They'll have that little.
Yeah.
They all have that thought that nothing's going to happen to us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've been so much.
Tech
been
thinks
through
it's
so
all-
much,
he
they
can
just
solve
think-
it by
They
his-
always think they can
Yeah.
solve it.
Brains.
Yeah.
Hunter is the one that's always going, we could die here.
Yeah.
We could die here.
We almost died 3 times.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a realist.
true.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where everything's heading.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we'll ever? I feel like eventually we will, but get back to some of the what the cloning aspect of what kind of makes Omega uniquely special, that sort of thing that they kind of teased a little bit in the first season.
I hope so. That would be cool.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I would love to
Saying
have
that'd
that
be really
connection
cool.
with Boba Fett come through and something that pulls her, that's pulling her away. She's being pulled into the adventure, and they're trying to maybe go back to something else. Maybe that tension will play out. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Because it's an odd fit. You have to admit it's an odd fit. She's with them, but it's not a.
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
It's not like when
Right.
they picked up Echo and all of a sudden they have another clone who's been
Right.
trained and all
Yeah.
this and like, cool,
These
now you're
are-
part of the group.
These are
It's-
battle-hardened clones designed
yeah.
to
Yeah.
fight with their specialties, whatever they are. And she's a little girl. It just,
Yeah.
I mean, she's great at it, but it
Yeah,
just
there's
doesn't
definitely-
there's a.
yeah.
It's
There
we
has
take
to
it for
be
granted because it's
reveal
a
as
show,
to-
but if you look at it, go, what is she doing in here? It just
Yeah.
feels
Yeah.
it's entertaining. I'm just saying, are they going to look at it and go, we can't keep doing this. We have to figure
Yeah.
something out. I don't
yeah.
know.
It's interesting. I'm interested. I mean, I can't wait to see where.
I
where
know it's
all
going to be
going.
cool.
Still got a
Very
lot of
cool.
season left too.
Yeah.
What 10 episodes still? 11 episodes
11.
maybe left.
11
So-
left, yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a
Whatever
lot.
comes,
It
it'll be
is.
fun.
It's gonna
I
be
think
fun.
one of these weeks, maybe in the next few weeks, we actually get a 2-episode
Oh, really?
drop. I remember somewhere
Because they're going to try to
maybe
make
it's
sure it
halfway,
doesn't
maybe-
overlap. Is
yeah.
that what's going to be?
I think maybe
Got it.
halfway.
With
They
Mando?
released the
Right, maybe
dates
it has
of
to.
the episode
I
releases,
guess it
but
will overlap with me.
I think maybe halfway marker, somewhere around halfway of the show. There's dropping 2 episodes on one day. So
Okay.
So
Yeah,
it will
I'll have to
overlap with Mando because Mando is March 1st. I'm just looking at the dates right now. We're
Yeah.
what, the 25th? Of,
it'll overlap with Mando. Yeah.
it'll be
Yeah,
fun.
'cause
Get
we'd
a
have,
couple of episodes on the same time.
Yeah. It will.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
I think that's it. Bad Batch, episode 5.
Oh yeah,
Where's it heading?
Entombed.
it's heading
Yeah.
into the giant Trojan monster. Which, by the way, this is a small. I know we're wrapping up. One thing it reminded me of a little bit, the inside of that when all of a sudden the lights came on, actually reminded me. I don't even know if you guys have seen it, but the J.J. Abrams Star Trek
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
movies.
I
It
was gonna
immediately
say
felt a
Man
little
of Steel.
bit-
The way
Man of Steel.
It made me feel
Well,
very
Man of Steel definitely 'cause Man
ancient
of-
tech.
Man of Steel has the little
The
thing
chip
you have
that-
to insert
yeah.
and twist, and
Mhm.
then
That's what it made me
everything.
feel because
That's
they
kind
had
of
also
even
kind
more-
of lit up too with
Yeah.
like the.
That's kind of even more
lines
what I
and-
was thinking. I think too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, no, you're right.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
And
awesome.
if you do look up Horizon, the Horizon game, and the Forbidden West, and,
Mhm.
and those things, they have walkers like this.
Oh.
It's identical. It literally looks
Oh,
like they
very
got
cool.
this.
Oh,
idea from-
It looks like a
from
giant.
Horizon,
like
'cause
a
it
giant
walks
laser-
the same. It's giant. The head looks the same.
Well,
I'll have
It
to
looks
sh-
like
pull
a
up
giant
picture and show
Pokemon
you.
with a laser coming out of its head, which is
does.
awesome.
yeah, really.
It does. Yeah.
That's great.
Well, there you have it. Bad Batch episode 5 review, and yeah, looking forward to next week. Sorry we missed last week, but we should be back again next week and
Oh, yeah.
keeping things moving forward. Bad
Yeah.
Batch review. As always, let us know what you guys thought of the episode, what you're looking forward to next, and where do you think the show is heading. And on top of that, we kind of did a poll the other day of what Star Wars show you are looking forward to most this year. So let us know those too. There's a lot of fun Star Wars projects coming out. But yeah, until then, thanks for tuning in, and as always, may the Force be with you.
I got the package, didn't I? I think I've ended like every episode with that. I just love that.
It's a compass.
I love that quote.